the impact on family is devastating. It will just annihilate family.
Oh yeah.
And
Well,
if family is gone, then society is gone in due course of time.
my experience is a little different because, like I said, I got my high school girlfriend pregnant. We
Mm,
got married right out when she literally went from her last day in school to the courthouse to get to the JP to get married. So that
mm,
when she was pregnant, when she got married to me, within a couple of years we were divorced,
mm,
and I took a job offer at work to go to move
mm,
to the network. So
mm,
I packed up and moved to Burbank. Well, I moved to California, worked at the Burbank office.
mm,
I couldn't take California. I lasted 2 years in California and had to bail out and come back to Texas.
mm,
But that's when I got back. You know, she had already married the guy she had been screwing around on me with, and then I got drug into that because my son wouldn't put up with, wasn't going to have anything to do with his stepdad.
oh yeah,
So
yeah,
so
that
I
comes out.
got custody by default. The state gave me custody because uh, all my son would do was fight with his stepfather.
How old was your son? How old was your son?
At that point, he was about 4.
Wow. Oh, he must be very attached with you, man, to be doing that with the stepdad.
We didn't know each other very much, other than the first,
Really?
you know, as a
Then
toddler.
stepdad must be an idiot. The
I left
stepdad
his
must
house
be a
at 2.
toxic. Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and
And
it's
and
the neat thing is it's safe to talk about this because Jackie, my first wife, passed away 2 years ago. So
mm,
that talk about freaking people out when they didn't have a funeral for her, but they had a wake meeting. And when I walked into that, people freaked out because some of the people there hadn't seen me in 30 years.
mm.
But I said, hey, she was the mother of my child, and we were married, even though it was a long time
See,
ago.
yeah, see, in
But
all this, what's going? Yeah,
that's
sorry, go
what surprised him is that my son walked in the door, and I walked in right behind him because he gave me a ride from here up. I rode up there with him from the Dallas area.
on.
'Cause he lives here near me.
Mm,
So, hey, to interrupt you too, I'm War Scott, by the way.
Yeah, we saw you up there. How's it going?
Yeah, so I was just curious, like, what is it about OnlyFans that have you guys intrigued that you need to feel the need to talk
I
about
would
it?
I would just bring it up that it was one of the things women do that's can be detrimental in your life. If you're established OnlyFans girl, uh, that's establishing you as a, what am I trying to say? Less than reputable. I hate to say that much, but
Oh, perhaps. Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, if you're
even
selling photos online and doing
in this day
porn,
and age, though, isn't every woman just
well,
not to standards?
it's more acceptable today than it was when I was a kid.
Yeah,
In the '70s, let's say '60s, '70s, '80s, when I was a kid.
yeah.
Most of the girls on OnlyFans are in their 20s and 30s, so that would have been that would have been the 1980s for me because I'm 63. So
I was just curious about it because, like, porn is free throughout the world. I mean, you could obviously Google just about anything.
right.
And
Well, I'll admit that I partake in the webcam sites. There's a couple of girls I follow. I tip them, but it's a case of I haven't met them in person, but we interact with each other through the computer or send text message and talk on the phone. The big advantage is I don't if I don't want to put up with them, I can just hang up and there's there's no hard feelings. Where if they're living with you, it's a whole different story.
yeah,
Uh, or if they're here in town and you take them to dinner regularly or you interact with them regularly, you know,
yeah, but
it's
I
something.
don't understand leaving the tips or anything because it's free online. You can find
Right,
anything
but
you
yeah,
want online.
but
Like,
but
why would you get involved with the OnlyFans girl and
well,
leave her
because
tips?
because you're doing just like we're doing now. We're chatting back and forth in a group. You
Yeah.
could do that on OnlyFans, but one of the people in the room is sitting there nude.
Okay.
The girls hosting the rooms, she are scantily
So
dressed.
that
Depends on
deserves a
what's going
tip,
on.
just the fact that she's nude.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
It's like going to a strip club. You're not going to get her to take her top off unless you give her a buck,
Yeah. So here's a question.
Mm.
Let's presume this woman has a child, or two children, or three children.
right?
What do you think is the effect? See, we all look at it as, so here's the issue with the Western civilization. The interaction and the relationship between a man and a woman is viewed solely as a romantic or a sexual aspect. So men and women exist in way more relationships and shades than just romantic sexual partners.
Right.
For
Well,
instance, mother and children. For instance, my mother and I, my sister and I. So it really baffles me why West is so focused on sexual. Like when we say men's right, women right, the discussion is only in the context of romantic part. Like my mother has a lot of power over me. She can still slap me. I'm 50. If she enters the room, I will stand up. I will not sit down till she tells me to sit down. That's a lot of woman power.
right,
She
right.
spanked me. Yeah. So was she abusing me, or that was that?
No,
Is that a so? Here's my question, and or a comment rather. The 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 responsibilities and duties between men and women are determined by their relationship,
right,
mother
and the
son,
culture they
not
live in.
just yeah. Culture defines everything, but the culture actually grows out of the moral values we hold.
Yeah, you you put something popped in my head. I remember you talk about when your mother walks in the room and would stand up. I can remember when I was a kid back in the '60s. Anytime a woman walked in the room, all the men
Yeah.
stood up.
Yeah. Because, and why the West has come to this? Because
You know,
Western civilization actively jettisoned and excluded religious morality
right?
from the society.
Another
That is why.
expansion of that. We'd go to Christmas. We'd do Our family would do the Christmas gift exchange on Christmas Eve, the 24th, and the women would wear dresses. The guys would be in suit and tie, and this was going over my grandmother's house. This was all relatives. If you look at that same equivalent today, uh, we're nowhere near dressed up as that. It's very casual compared to to the formality it was in the '60s.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
just been a cultural shift in the U.S. I'm sure there's other parts of the world that still
Oh,
cling
everywhere, not
to
just
the
USA. Yeah.
well, I'd have to say, like the majority of the world has changed a lot. And especially with the younger generations, like
well. I, I think you're looking at it from a Western point of view because I did a lot of work in the Middle East, and they
yeah,
have very traditional standards over there.
Yep.
It's a different society dealing with there. Well, even well, like Middle East and India, it's a different world. Asia
Yep.
too.
well, even if you took that one of those women from one of those countries and brought them over to the West,
That
right?
Oh,
There'd
they
be
become
they
a
would
real
stop.
westernized very
change.
They
quickly.
will be they
Yeah.
Westernize very quickly. But I'm talking
Very
about
Yeah,
quickly.
me as a Westerner working in Dubai or Saudi Arabia on cell phone towers. You know, there were certain things you did and didn't do that you would never you things you couldn't do there that you could get away that you could do in the U.S. So it was you had to be a perfect gentleman over there, or you could get in serious trouble.
I don't even know what a gentleman is anymore. That's
Yeah. Hey,
just
hamster,
thrown out the
can
window.
you just send your email to me in the private chat, please, if that's okay? Hamster,
Hamster's
hamster,
wandering off.
hamster is has wandered off. That's all right. We'll check on
Okay,
check on him.
He's
Hamster needs to
enjoying
Yeah.
bring
his
me a beer.
beers.
Oh,
He's only got six left. It's the last time I heard. So, but
Yeah, it is sad
I'm,
to
I'm
see
trying
how.
to I'm trying to cook some supper. I'm just enjoying your chat, guys. So
there you go.
please go
okay.
on.
Yeah.
Well,
What you
you
cooking
Hey,
for
hamster, do
supper?
you mind sending your email into the private chat, please? And I'll send you
Sure.
an email.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man.
yeah,
Thank you.
Your timing was perfect because when you opened the room, put the link in the room. I was just finishing up my hamburger for tonight, so perfect timing.
So, just another question, Fat Dog. I mean, you enjoy those sites and you leave tips, correct?
Yeah. So, War Skull, tell us your story.
Well, I just had a question about it. Like, I still had a hard time believing that like that's tip worthy. You know what I mean?
Um, some people take it. Some people, you're right. You may not think it is, but there's a lot of guys out there that that will give them money. I mean, it's not just OnlyFans. You can go look at sites like Twitch
Yeah.
or Kick. I mean, the well, she's over on she made her money on Twitch, but she's over on Kick now. Girl's worth $60 million.
Yeah, but
You
I'm
know,
saying the fact that they're a female, right, and these guys are coming and leaving the tips, is that leaving them a sense of entitlement?
right?
Yeah. That's the men's. See, that's what I'm pointing out when I say men do this because it is almost a biological imperative for men to help women. We are
Right.
just wired
Yeah.
like that. This would never happen for a man setting up a channel for whatever reason. Men will have to produce something of value that other men and women want. But if it's a
Right.
woman, men are just willing just to throw their money at them. And
Right.
I can't understand that. I
Well,
understand the concept of helping a woman on a roadside, but I don't do that, even that
Not
today because
anymore.
that
I
can
don't even
actually get
understand
me into
that
a lot of trouble. I'm
nowadays.
not gonna never gonna do that.
Not
But I
anymore.
understand the concept. But
No.
this is bizarre that men are giving millions of dollars to a woman on OnlyFans and then say, why do women have so much power? Because it's men who are willing to throw other men
They,
under the bus
well,
to make women happy.
that's the whole argument with feminism, though, is men have gave them the power. If it wasn't for
Yeah.
men, they would have never had the power to begin with. So that's what I'm saying. So why is that okay? You know what I mean? Like it should never got to this point, and now
Yeah, and I really don't know how someone would perceive it to be independent and empowered if it meant you're going to become a cubicle drone for rest of your life till the age of 70, 75, 65, 80, because
Right.
now you don't have the privilege of staying at home and your husband working his ass off to make
Yeah.
you happy.
That now you're going here. It's like, they want to be the strong, empowered woman because you would rather
Yeah,
go work 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 in a cubicle someplace answering to your boss,
yeah,
uh, instead of being home with your children and
yeah,
taking care of your
yeah.
family.
well, that's what
I mean,
feminism's taught men.
and in a lot
Yeah,
of these cases, these women are trading dollars. They have to hire a service, a babysitter, to take care of their
yeah,
kids, plus a car, plus
absolutely,
clothing, plus all the other expenses of going to
absolutely.
work. And by the time
Yeah,
you put it all in there, her wage is $1 an hour that she's bringing
yeah,
home. The rest of it's
yeah,
going to babysitter and fuel and second
absolutely,
vehicle and
absolutely.
clothing and
Paying
toll
tax.
charges
Don't
and
forget
taxes.
she's married to the government daddy.
Yeah, well, that's the other part of it. It's a three way. If you're married, it's a three-way, because you, your wife, and daddy government.
Yep.
In Australia, you don't even have to be married. In fact, you don't even have to be living in the same house.
And,
If the
and
woman can prove that you're in a relationship, you'll be treated as husband and wife, and your
there was
assets will be divided as husband and
that
wife.
that just recently has in Canada. A millionaire got forced to
Yeah,
pay alimony to his
yeah,
girlfriend.
yeah. Yep, absolutely.
You know,
See, and that's the stupidity of men, that we literally walk away totally oblivious. We choose to be recklessly oblivious to the risks, the legal risks, we can get ourselves into, especially if you're making a lot of money. You got a lot of, like, I've got like over $2 million insurance, life insurance. If I've got 2 kids, 3 kids, if I die and I have a girlfriend, everything goes to the woman. There is no legal way for me to secure inheritance for my children from my death money, from my insurance payout. Everything will go to the
oh,
woman.
in the insurance.
Yeah, so why would I do that? All the assets, all the money, all the superannuation I've made since my divorce, everything will go to the woman if I choose to have another girlfriend. I mean, only a reckless, selfish, self-centered asshole father would do this to his children. And that's
Because
I
because
just
see,
won't do it.
I, it may be difference in the laws between there and here, but I can specify that the insurance goes to the kids and not to the ex-wife.
Yeah, no, not in Australia. You can't do
Yeah,
that. You can set
because
up trusts and this and that, but if I
that's
have a girlfriend and I died and there's insurance payout, it will most of it will go, if not all, it will go to your
the spouse,
spouse,
the
partner,
last
or
spouse. Yeah,
friendship.
that yeah. In the U.S., you just set up a trust fund with the kids. That the kids
Yeah,
are in a trust fund, and the insurance pays the trust fund, and the
yeah,
the wife is not in that.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I can set up a trust here, but there's no airtight way of ensuring and guaranteeing that a major portion will go to my children. No. So a woman, just by being with me, suddenly becomes entitled to everything that I
Right,
have, and I just have an issue with that because it's wrong in principle.
right. That it's that way in the U.S. for married, but once you're divorced, she loses some of the rights, especially if you've got children, and you can always, you know, put it in your will that she's not to get anything.
Yeah, yeah, but the
Like,
wills get challenged, and where will the money come for the lawyers?
right? Yeah,
From your
wills get
insurance
challenged
money.
just
Yeah,
wills get challenged just like prenups get challenged, and they're often
absolutely.
set aside,
Yeah, absolutely. And
especially
that's
when
why
it's someone that's got money.
oh yeah, when there's a prospect of $2.5 million in life insurance, a woman will go to extreme lengths to try to get some good piece of that cake. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I would not do that. I would just take
the,
that out of the equation altogether.
the sad part is that if she gets it, she'll probably blow it in
Oh,
24 to 48 months.
well, I couldn't give a lesser shit, man. I don't care what she would do. My issue,
Well,
my see,
she
my
blows it, and
filters.
your kids don't
Oh
get
yeah, yeah,
any
yeah.
advantage of it.
I understand. Yeah, see, my
I
kids will not get a penny, and no, that's not. I'm not going to let that happen.
Yeah,
Period.
it's like if yeah, at this point in time, if I pass away, this house gets sold and it's
Yeah.
split up between my two boys.
Yep. Absolutely.
And of course, my boys are both grown and on about doing their thing.
Yeah.
So
But it would certainly help them if they got some extra kick from their father. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
In inherit. Absolutely.
this at this point, each one of them get about 300K.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That
And it's
always
also a
helps.
matter of
I
principle,
mean,
also, man. Because see, people don't realize
I
society
I
and
started
there's
my when I got the 30 grand from my dad's death. That's what I used to start my business. That I didn't run it full time. It's been a part time thing on the side, but it's always nice to have something there because
absolutely.
I kept wanting to do that full time, but just never had the guts to quit the 9 to 5 paycheck and go out and work on my own. I'm just not an entrepreneur like that. Where I had a business partner, and he's never worked for a business since then. He's been on his own ever since.
Well, I have to say the 9 to 5 in this day and age isn't really going anywhere no more.
Well, if you're 9 to 5, you're corporate track in a big corporation. Today, it may not be worth what it was, 30 years ago when I got into it. Because I worked for some big companies, and there's always a track up in those companies. But of course, again, when you work with those companies, they can decide, yeah, we merged with the new cut. We've bought this other company. We're merging them in here. Now we've got too many people. Hey, you fat dog, you're 50 years old. We want to keep the 20s and 30s and 40s. You can leave now. Yeah, we know you've been here for 20 years, but still move on.
Not even with that, like the newer generations, man, they're not sticking around in jobs. It's recommended that you always spend maybe 2 years in the job and move on because you're gonna make more money at the next job versus sticking
Well,
around for 30, 20 years in another
that
job.
was the advantage I had working at Nokia, as I was jumping from division to division to division inside the company. So it was my paycheck was being coming from different parts of the company about every 3 or 4 years. I would switch jobs internally.
Yeah.
New boss, new product, new boss, do something else. I mean, I started over in. I worked in handsets. I worked in internet technology. I worked at base stations. I worked in intellectual property. I was in sales and marketing. I was a manager for tech support. I mean, those are all completely different things.
Yeah, but
That's
that was within the one company, right? correct?
Yeah, it was in the same company. I mean, I went from doing R&D for handsets, which is the cell phone in your hand, to managing customer technical support for companies. My customers were AT&T and T-Mobile
Yeah.
because their field techs were the one calling our 800 number to get help with something that they can't figure out.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, if you were to quit that company nowadays, maybe 2 years in, and leave for
Right,
their company, you're gonna make way more money than if you did if you just stuck around that company.
right.
Just
Yeah,
because the effective inflation is so high.
right. Uh, I let like I said, the layoff notices came around. I made a couple of phone calls, and the customer I was working with said, "Sure, we'll put you on payroll." So I went over and went to work. I literally walked out of the Nokia office on Friday, and Monday I walked into the T-Mobile office, and they gave me a new desk, and I sat down there, dialed into the same conference call I had been on Friday, but this time instead of being with Nokia for Nokia, I'm with T-Mobile. I'm on the opposite side of the phone call.
Right.
It's like I walked in and says, when they said we've got a new guy coming in on the conference call today, it's his first day on the job. I go, well, we'll have to get him up to speed. Then it told me who it was. Oh, he's from the vendor. He's already up to speed. So it's like they wanted to know timelines and stuff.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
problem was the project timeline they wanted was I had just been fired from the company working on that project. So it's kind of like I had all the information we needed already. But
Yeah. So the times have changed
yeah,
in
these
more
days
ways
it's
than one.
yeah, it's a lot more outsourcing these days.
Yeah.
And like I said, people don't work the long jobs they used to. They hop back and forth from place to place all the time.
Well, a lot of companies don't want liability anymore, so they'll outsource to their company, so they take the liability from that
Right,
company.
right. Take
Yep.
the liability off because that was one of the major expenses when I was in project management was major expenses, all the insurance cost and the overhead that it costs us to operate those projects.
Yeah, the freaking lawyers have run amok through the Western countries, that's for sure.
Yeah, and anytime you work on a construction project and you've got 30 or 40 people working, you're going to have injuries and you're going to have equipment broken and people getting car wrecks, especially when you're in this case driving from location to location and there's a lot of moving parts. You're always getting people getting in accidents, people getting stuff stolen, accidents happening on sites. It's the just expenses that if you'd outsourced all that, it's not your problem.
Yep. Even the government's doing that now at this point. They're outsourcing everything they got to do. They just don't want to deal with the liabilities no more.
Well, yeah, depends on what they're outsourcing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff the government. It's not really outsourcing; they're just acquiring a product.
Well, they
It's a case of
outsourced a lot of things when it comes to public services, I'd say. They got to go on the broader range, they have mercenaries. To go to the local range, the security and protection for the people and stuff like that, it's all been outsourced. They
right,
won't deal with
and
it
of
no
course,
more.
that's been the growth of the NGOs that the government can hire to go do the dirty work that they don't want to be their their fingerprints on. So
Man.
attempts
Hamster,
to
what you
get rid.
got playing in the background here?
Do what?
Well, how's that saying? Hamster, what's playing in the background here?
Don't know. Hamster's muted. He's cooking dinner or something. He's busy trying to find something to eat.
I think hamster is just put on a screen share, and so that it's just something to, yeah.
Well, it
I
becomes a
find it
modern
distract, but
aided
that's
in understanding is what's playing in the background. I just thought that might have been a little interesting.
Sure. That looks like is that Vegas that she's at? Looks like she's in Vegas.
It looks something like that. One of the big cities.
Well, I'm guessing it's either Vegas or L.A. There's the only two places I know that look like that. Well, San Diego.
Right.
So I don't know. There's so much weird stuff going on out there.
Yeah, it does look pretty Vegasy.
she's the type of girl to come on and say she's looking for the 4 6s. It's like,
Right.
what do you bring to the table? She goes, I bring me. I said, yeah, well, I can get you for, you know, two
Oh
hundred
no, they
bucks
say
200
I
bucks a
am
night.
the table. No, they say I am the table.
Yeah,
And I say you're a
Yeah,
very big table. You're a very big table.
yeah, a
yeah,
really wide table. I didn't know if I ordered this much table. Can we downsize?
yeah. That's downtown Vegas right there.
Yeah, that's what it is. Wow.
I know because I was there a few years ago working on a project. That was that was the first big scale trial of 5G technology that T-Mobile did was downtown Vegas. God, that was a long
You
time
know a
ago.
lot
That was
about 5G?
Yeah. Well, I left Nokia. Well, I left T-Mobile in 2019. I'd spent 26 years in the cell phone business. So the 5G pilots and trials was working on with they brought in engineers. T-Mobile brought in RF engineers from the various markets to Las Vegas as they deployed 5G there in downtown Las Vegas. And this was a millimeter wave stuff that we were experimenting with to get a feel for exactly how does it work in an urban environment because it had never been really used outside of a lab. So
What we think about the conspiracy theories where like they could turn on and melt your brain and all that.
that's just conspiracy theories again.
Yeah.
When I was over in the handset division at Nokia, we had a test facility that we tested RF exposure. We had this. You've seen these heads that look like just a mannequin, but this mannequin's full of it's got a viscous fluid in it that simulates a human head. And we'd take a cell phone, put it up next to it, and measure the radiation being absorbed by the human. And all the phones have to go through this humans testing in order to ensure that they were safe to use.
So, Lord Jim,
Yep.
you said you're in India?
No, I
He's in
mean, I live in
Australia.
Australia.
Oh,
Originally
Australia.
from originally from Pakistan, but I live in Australia.
Pakistan? Okay. I was just
Pakistan. Okay.
curious. So, in Australia, they don't have rules where you can leave it to your kids instead of your wife.
Sorry, say it again.
I said in Australia, they don't have rules where you can leave your money towards your kids instead of your
No,
wife.
no, no. It's you can write a will, but
Yeah.
there's no sure shot, airtight way, legal way that would guarantee
Yeah.
that, let's
So
No
say,
guarantee.
so
50% of
so
my insurance goes to my kids. No, everything will likely go to the girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah.
the girlfriend or
Oy.
wife, ex-wife.
No, 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 no. Ex-wife is gone, so that she's not in the
Okay.
picture, so she can't get anything. But you see, here's the thing: in Australia, if you have a girlfriend, she's treated as your wife
Yeah.
in the
Well,
common law. It's
I was gonna
called
say,
common law
common
marriage.
law. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the concern in Texas with some dating some girls. Is that it's real
Yep.
easy to find yourself
Yep.
declared in a common law marriage.
Yeah, we got
In
that
fact,
on
in
West.
fact, it's even worse than that because I was talking to the lawyers. I had like three of them, all of them women, and I asked them, so what if we are not cohabitating? And she said, all three of them said, no, you can be living 3,000 miles apart. If somehow she can convince the court that you and her were in a relationship, your assets will be treated as if you were married. And then I said, which was a rhetorical question, I said, geez, what kind of relationship is a safe relationship between a man and a woman?
I say
And they
it's
said, you know what she said? She's now a barrister. She said, with your concern, the only relationship you can have with a woman is no relationship at all. These are her words, not my
So,
words.
are you living with her? Cohabitating?
Living, sorry,
Are you cohabitating with her?
no.
I'm not touching any woman with a 10-foot pole, man.
Yeah.
Let alone cohabitate.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
saying,
Well,
if you had a girlfriend, or you cohabitating with her, or is it just
I think it's
long distance, or you're
Oh no, no,
off and
no! If you
on?
have a girlfriend,
Yeah.
and if I die, the court treats us as if you are as a common law marriage, and the assets get divided as if you were married,
So
which
what I'm
is which
asking
means
is
she gets
that
a lot.
girlfriend have to be living with you, or is
No,
No,
this
no, no, no,
no,
no, no,
no.
no.
That's what I'm
no?
saying. No, no.
Oh
That's what I'm
wow,
saying.
She don't even have to be in the same town with you. Just
No,
just
not at all.
wow.
As I
prove
said, the
that
lawyer
you've
said
had a
you can be.
relationship.
Yeah, the test, the course. You see, this is called what they call in legal language. The test that court uses is if you would be perceived in a relationship by a common person.
No.
And what will it take to convince the court you were in a relationship? Few text messages, I love you, Hon, love to spend time with you, few gifts exchange, and that's it. That's relationship.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So why
that's
would I do that?
overboard there. That's worse than it is here in the States.
Yeah,
Well,
there are other things which are better in Australia. For example, in child support, I don't have to pay 10% of whatever I make. There's a maximum limit. Let's say if I make $500,000, the child support goes up until $400,000. If I make half a million, she can't get any more child support. There is no lifelong alimony here in Australia. So
yeah.
those are good things which are not
Uh,
there. If I am sick, if I don't have a job, I don't have to pay child support because I don't have a job. But in USA, if you were a doctor and you were not able to work, you still have to pay child support as if you were a doctor. If you don't, you will go to jail. How's that?
Well,
So that's not how it is here.
what you'd have to do is go to court and try to get them to lower your child support.
Well, good luck with that, my friend.
Yeah. Well, about actually, I know a guy had pretty stiff child support that got completely out from underneath having to pay child support. Of course, he's sitting on the
Occasionally it
inside.
can happen. See,
He's
occasionally
sitting
that can
inside the
happen.
state. He's
Yes.
sitting in the state prison right now, and he'll be there for another 20 years. But
Yeah.
well, that's one way out.
that's the only way I
Look,
know to get out of alimony and child support
Right?
is to be thrown in
oh yeah,
prison
look. If I see it,
for
it could
10,
come
20
to that,
years.
and see, here's the thing: once you cross 50, the more you are older, less the jail sentence sounds less like a, you know, like a sentence. It sounds more like a retirement plan.
Yeah,
If
well,
you're 60,
I'm
You're doing my
63.
best.
I'm 63. I said, wait,
Man
I
for
don't have to cook
meals.
meals. I don't have to
yeah,
clean.
exactly.
They're going to provide me with clean
Yeah,
clothes, a
life
place to
sentence sounds
stay.
more like a retirement plan now.
I would miss having the internet, unlimited use of the internet, but
Yeah. It's just like it's just sad. See, when I moved to Australia, it was back in I think uh, 2008, and the first thing that I found totally confusing and baffling was how the Western civilization mocks and demonizes and disses its own men. And I said that can't be right. No civilization can survive that.
oh yeah,
And now things are way worse than what they used to be back in 2008. Way worse.
Hmm, yeah,
And they're far worse in USA than they are in Australia.
yeah. And one thing you have to remember when you're looking at the U.S. From the outside is that remember that every state is quasi independent. So like, there's no alimony in the state of Texas, but there's alimony in California. Depends on what state you're living in at the time,
Yeah, yeah,
whether or not and the child support requirements change, whether or not there's alimony. Some states have short-term alimony that pays for 4 or 5 years after the divorce, then goes away.
yep, yep,
And
yep.
it all depends on which state you're in as to where it goes.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
see, there's another issue with the legal system. See, in the family court, the burden of proof is not the same as is required in criminal cases. Number one. Number two, the
yeah. Well, it's
courts
because
have a
it's civil.
lot of discretion.
It's
The
a
courts
civil
have a
court.
lot. Yeah, see, courts and the judges have a lot of discretion. And in my observation, whenever they have to err, they will err towards the side of the woman.
Right.
Like it's nonsensical. Like if
Yeah.
I do something and if my ex-wife does something, everything else being equal, I'm likely, and this is proven in studies, men get harsher sentences. So it's not
Oh, that's
questionable,
always
it's a
that's
fact.
been known for a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah, we've known this for a long time. So why would I want to go and test that system? And then laws can be changed depending on after an election they can vote and they can actually enforce the laws, enact them retrospectively from back.
That's
They can backdate them.
Yep.
So we may think for now we are safe, but actually we are not. We're always sitting at a on top of an volcano that can, like Yellowstone, overdue explosion 50,000 years.
As far as I know, I'm safe from all that because
But
the
your kids are
mothers,
grown up now,
but
so you,
my kids are grown. Their
yeah,
mothers are dead. I think I'm safe.
yeah. I think you're pretty safe. I'm pretty safe as long as I don't get involved with any female. So and that's why I keep a distance. I'm never doing that.
Well,
My
I
only
Oh,
involvement,
Hamster.
say
my,
let the world
my
burn
only
at this
involvement,
point.
I'm gonna say my only involvement with the female these days is to the occasional tip to the cam girl.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I interact in my workplace all the time. That's not what I'm talking about. Romantic involvement. I
Right.
just keep a distance, interact decently, nicely, and then everything
Yeah,
else. No.
I had one just before I left. They brought in a new person to the RF group there here in Dallas. She had come down from Salt Lake City, and I was really uncut. First of all, she's young, she was attractive, and she was a very warm and friendly person. So warm and friendly, I was always backing up, trying to keep distance from her.
Mm,
It's like,
mm,
would you mind not sitting on my desk, please?
yeah.
You know?
They try to take liberties. I don't
Oh
like
yeah,
that. Yeah. Has hamster left the building or what happened?
a good question.
It says stream ended. I have no
It,
idea what that
I
yeah,
means.
think
apparently
he's
our
looking at
stream has ended,
gourmet
and we're just
meal.
talking. So we're just sitting here talking to each other right now. The stream is
Is
over,
it? Oh, I'm
apparently.
happy with that. Yeah,
Right?
but there's still comments going on YouTube though. Hang on. Oh yeah. Okay. So the stream
Let
has
this
ended.
say,
Oh, I like these.
let me see.
I like prefer these backroom chats because we can talk more freely as compared to live.
Right?
Let me
Hamster,
see here.
hamster, where are you?
So,
I think he dropped out or
He
something.
dropped out.
Yeah, and
Dropped
the
out and went
stream
to do
ended.
something else,
I think
leaving
he'll
us
probably.
alone.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know
it showed.
because his,
I
he
just
still got his
checked. It
little
showed that.
icon on the top right.
Well, that's
Sorry.
because we're connected to Streamyard. He shut off the stream from Streamyard.
Yeah, but if you check on the YouTube, the stream is actually ended. No, hang on. He's still on the stream. What
No.
the hell? Yeah, he's
Trying to.
still. Oh no, no, it's video replay. No, the live stream has ended actually on
Yeah, the
YouTube.
live stream is ended. You can go see the.
Yeah, yeah. It's just playing from beginning,
That's
so
so
that's
good.
ended. Yeah, yeah. But we are connected.
Just so
Maybe
you
he'll come
know,
back.
I
Yeah,
still stream.
No, we're connected to each other through
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Streamyard,
which
which
is
is not
fine. Yeah,
streaming.
Yeah.
And since it's
Well,
his
what I'm
his
saying is,
studio, he's the only one that has
I'm
control over the
still
stream.
streaming. It's not Hamster channel, but my channel's still streaming too.
yeah.
Oh, you've got a stream up?
Yes,
I
sir.
think he was streaming
Okay,
streaming the discussion, so I think his stream is on.
all right.
Yep.
So we've been moved over to the War Skulls channel.
Yeah, basically. Well, welcome to the club.
Oh, it's all right.
But so, Lord Jim, you're from India?
No, from Pakistan.
Oh, Pakistan. Okay, I got you. All right. Well, that's some questions about India, but you don't know that. My bad.
Yeah.
Guess,
If it's a cultural thing, you can probably ask me, but I wouldn't know anything specific
just
Yeah,
about
it's,
it.
I don't
War
know,
Skulls.
it's just a weird conspiracy thing where they're talking about all the people in India basically had to go get chipped to get identified
They had to
because
get
they
what?
didn't
Sorry, say it
have.
again. Say that again. Say that again. What
Yeah,
was that?
what I was saying is that all the people in India had to get chipped, the microchip, because they didn't have
No, no,
everybody
man. I don't think so.
on
No,
records.
no,
Like they
no,
didn't
no.
have social
I haven't.
security or anything.
I've got a lot of friends from India. There's no such thing going on.
Oh, no
It might
joke.
have been floated, but no. But like eventually that might come in, but not at the moment. Like, but it would probably come in places like Europe, USA, long before it comes to
Uh,
India.
I think
Yeah,
you won't see it in the West until the China has figured out how to make it work completely.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Chinese just want to do business and make money. But their social credit system is a real thing.
That's
And
the thing that bothers me about China. It's not their manufacturing and uh, engineering powers. It's their social infrastructure that you know that
but
Yeah.
like I don't know. See, I've spoken with, and who is the person who's spoken about that. I think it's Colonel Doug McGregor on Judge
Yeah,
Napolitano and other interviews he's done. And he said that he's been to China several times, and Chinese are perfectly happy with this social credit system because they don't want any turmoil, and this is a very good way of
right.
keeping population from doing shitty things. And then he said, well, they say, hey, like we are perfectly happy. You have given too much freedom to everybody. How is that working out for you? And
Yeah,
there is some merit in that. So I don't know. Yeah.
I think you think China's not as diverse a culture as we are in the U.S., where we
Yeah.
have people
Oh,
from all
yeah,
over
yeah.
the world.
Here's another thought for all of us. In every good society, including Western societies about 100 years ago, we did have an informal cultural societal credit system, which was word of mouth. Does it make
Right.
sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Voskal
Yep. Yep.
says, Lord Jim is excellent. He's a good carpenter. And then next thing, Fat Dog, who knows Voskal very well, will contact me to get to, do, to get me to do a job for him. Does that mean so? That's a social credit system. The
Right.
government in China has formalized it on a governmental level.
Yeah.
So
The problem with it is that the government, in China's case, if your score, they start penalizing you if your score goes low.
yeah,
Where in the informal situation, the penalty is you just don't get work.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And it's
Well,
not the government saying
I
you
really
can't work.
feel too that
It's your employer saying we don't want to hire you to do this job.
Mm,
the world's grown so much that you don't even know who
yep.
your neighbor is anymore.
But see, dog. Here's a question. I mean, I lived in Sydney, okay. But
Yeah.
and when someone asked me where you live, I would say Sydney. Sydney's got millions of people. But if you break it down to daily, daily routine, I was actually living in a 3 kilometer radius area, and in that area, the social credit system still works. People take my word if I make a reference for someone, they will take my word because they know
Right.
me. I'm a reliable person. So yeah,
Right.
it's a big world, but still the word of mouth still works, man. Doesn't does
Well,
does, does that
yeah.
make sense? To
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
significant extent, actually.
I mean, it's just like you call your buddy up and say, "Do you know somebody that can take a
Hmm,
look at my car?"
absolutely.
You know, you you,
and
you,
and
you
and then your buddy is reliable. You know what kind of guy your buddy is,
right.
and if you know he's a bullshitter, you will not go to that mechanic because you don't trust that guy, that your
Right.
buddy. But if you know that buddy of yours is a reliable, methodical, diligent person, you will know, okay, if he's saying he's good, then this guy has got to be a really good one.
I
Does it
think
make
the
Right.
sense?
West is so big right now, you can't make those determinations. Like, there's way too many people here now. You don't know who's
Yeah.
who, you don't know what's what. It's just a
In
complete
the end, it still
cluster.
works. I mean, in I don't know what your industry is, but in any
Yeah.
technical industry, what you show for a degree is one thing, but in reality, you get a job only when someone is contacted on a phone call and they say, "Yeah, man, this guy is awesome. Hire him before someone else hires him." That's
Oh, I
how
agree
I
with
do
that.
references for people.
Exactly.
And all my jobs I've ever had, they were already they were advertised, but everybody knew I was going to get that job, including myself. That's how it works.
That's
That's how the credit
well.
system works.
There's an interesting one of the jobs I've had I was since I graduated high school.
Yep.
Only one of them was what I call a cold call job, one where I went in the door to talk to them because they had a ad in the paper.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
Everybody else, it was, hey, XYZ wants to talk to you about going to work for them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
In
word
the
of
case,
mouth is huge.
Yeah.
the cold call one,
Absolutely.
I had to tell that story. The cold call story.
Yeah.
Looking for a job, and I was looking through the paper, and there's a little blurb down there that NBC Channel 11's looking for a camera operator.
Hmm.
I said, I've got a lot of experience shooting uh, still photos and 16 millimeter film. I can go over and talk to them.
Hmm.
So I go over and fill out the application and go in and talk with the production manager. And we had a conversation for about 10 minutes. He goes, well, you could do the job, but you're not exactly what we're looking for. He says,
Hmm.
but there's a job opening that's tailored for just what you're looking for in
Absolutely.
engineering down the hall. Would you like to go talk with
Absolutely.
them? I said, sure.
Absolutely. Sure.
He walks me down the hall and
Yep.
introduced me to Cheryl, who was going to be my
Yep.
boss, and said,
Yep.
Cheryl goes, Cheryl goes, so So you wanted to work over there. He says, tell me your experience. I said, well, I studied electrical engineering. I
Hmm.
studied electrical engineering technology in high school
Hmm.
under Charlie Wilson. He goes, oh, really? Charlie Wilson. Well, if Charlie Wilson tells you you're good enough for me, when can you go to work? I said,
Yep.
right now. He says, well, let me introduce you to the rest of the people. I
Absolutely.
walked in the door, talked to that one guy, talked to the
Absolutely.
engineering, walked across the
Absolutely,
hall,
man.
was introduced to everybody else on the job, and went to work right
Exactly.
there. And
Exactly. This is exactly how it works in the real world.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I had to go down to the HR department and fill out paperwork so I could get paid for that day.
Yep.
You know, and
This is exactly how it works.
I worked for them for a year, and
And
then
and
got a
and
job
that's
at
how
another
it's
at the competitor across town based
yeah.
upon word of
Yeah.
mouth of my work at that location.
Yeah, absolutely. They will come hunting for you. They will come looking, offering you and this and that. And
Right,
it's this is how it's always worked. So yeah, your degrees and diplomas and your CV, 40-page stuff, 40-page long CV which tells outlines everything. But like the real thing that really gets you the job is actually that phone call that is made between two people.
that I got. That's
Yeah.
how I wound up working for Nokia. As a friend of mine went to work for Nokia, and they were looking for people. Gave me my name. They called me in, we had a long discussion, and they hired me. And they put
Hmm.
me in what they put me in a technician job. All my titles, I could not be an engineer because I didn't have a college degree in engineering.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, but I'm doing grade level work and doing engineering work, but I'm not an engineer.
Absolutely. And people see that and people recognize it. In fact,
Well,
I heard on YouTube, I think that companies are now actually advertising, if even if you don't have the degree but you do have skills, we will hire you, because the new degrees are literally worthless because
right.
people don't know how to do the job.
Well, there was a guy I had a discussion with the company. He said, "You can't be that. There's nobody at that level in the company." I said, "No, there's two people with this job with this senior technician job title, one in Finland and one in the U.S. And I'm the one in the
Mm,
U.S."
yeah.
I go, and
I
he
have
goes
to
back and
say,
starts looking. I said, just to give you an example where I am, go look up this project and that project and this project. He goes, oh, wait a minute. You hold patents on audio script technology. I said, yeah, I wrote the code that makes that audio work.
Yeah.
yeah, I have to say, a lot of people coming out of college institutions though ain't that bright.
Yeah, no kidding. I've had some of them. They're book smart, and you couldn't do anything with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or they
Yeah.
got the
Oh,
sword in the
yeah.
stick. One of the
Yeah. Yeah. There are a lot of people actually who look fantastic and top of the line on paper, but when actually talk to them, you can see in a split second that they're like bullshitting. They may have a degree but they don't know the job actually the
Yeah,
way they're
yeah.
supposed to know.
yep.
So yeah, it's pretty much obvious.
And the problem is you wind up with that guy gets transferred into your group, and it's like I can't do anything with this guy. He's not up to speed on what we're doing, and
Yeah.
it's I'm not sure he's ever going to be able to get up to speed on
Yeah.
audio codec
Yeah.
because we were in the in the middle of creating new variable rate audio codecs for the cell phones, and
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
this was some pretty advanced math. I mean, the math that made it work was over my head, but I'd had a
yeah.
couple of really good PhD
Well, I have to
mathematicians
say
there
real
to
quick,
work that out.
it's nice to meet you, Fat Dog and Lord Jim. I'll go be out for tonight. I gotta go to work real
Yeah,
soon.
I have to go as well.
Well,
Great
let's
talking to
run.
you guys. Look
Good
forward
talking to you
talking to you
guys.
guys again. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
That
It's a
was
good
awesome, man.
video.
Great chat.
y'all
Great
take
chat.
Yeah.
Great
care.
chat.
Yeah.
Take care,
Okay.
A
everybody.
good night.
Yeah,
Bye.
take it. Bye.